You know what gets me about Bolivia? It's not the flamingos. It's not the salt flats that look like mirrors when it rains. It's this one place, up in the Andes, almost 13,000 feet in the air, where you can barely breathe, and ancient humans somehow managed to do something that would make a modern engineer stop, stare, and quietly go, how? The place is called Puma Punku. And I'll be honest with you, the first time I came across photos of it, I genuinely thought someone had made them up. Like some kind of CGI concept art from a sci-fi movie. Because what you're looking at are stone blocks. Ancient stone blocks. But they aren't just big stones. They're shaped, perfectly, precisely, geometrically, in ways that feel like they came out of a factory. There are perfectly flat surfaces. Perfectly symmetrical channels. Angles so exact, so repeatably exact across dozens of blocks, that researchers have actually measured them with modern instruments and gone, these are within millimeters of perfect. And here's the thing that keeps me up at night. According to archaeologists, this was built around 1,500 years ago. By people who, as far as we know, had no steel tools. No iron. No wheel. And no written language. So, who were these people? And how in the world did they do this? That's what we're going to find out today. Okay, so let's set the scene. Bolivia. Western side. Near the southern shores of Lake Titicaca, the highest large lake in the world. You're sitting at about 3,850 meters above sea level. The air is thin. The sun is brutal. The wind cuts right through you. And in this landscape, honestly, one of the most dramatic landscapes on the planet, there's a complex of ancient ruins called Tiwanaku. Now, Tiwanaku itself is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. According to researchers, it was one of the most important pre-Columbian civilizations in South America. At its peak, around 700 to 1000 AD, historians suggest this city was home to anywhere between 10,000 and 20,000 people. They had an irrigation system, a trade network, a sophisticated society. But within that complex, sitting to the southwest, is a structure that stands completely apart. Puma Punku. The name itself, in Aymara and Quechua, the indigenous languages of the Andes, means, Gate of the Puma. According to archaeological records, it is a T-shaped terraced platform mound. About 167 meters wide, 116 meters across. 5 meters tall. With an east-west alignment that researchers believe was intentional, possibly aligned to specific astronomical events. And built into this platform were stone blocks. Not ordinary stone blocks. The largest block found here, according to measurements documented by archaeologists, is 7.81 meters long, 5.17 meters wide, and estimated to weigh approximately 131 tons. To put that in context, the average school bus weighs about 11 tons. This is roughly the weight of 12 school buses. Sitting on a mountain. 1,500 years ago. And the stones weren't just big. They were precise. They were cut. They interlocked. And they came from somewhere far, far away. Now, before we go any further, I want to make sure we're giving credit where credit is actually due. Because here's something I find genuinely frustrating about how Puma Punku gets talked about in popular media. A lot of the time, people jump straight to, aliens did this, or, a lost civilization we've never heard of, or, this is beyond human capability. And in doing that, they erase the actual humans who built it. The people of Tiwanaku were remarkable. According to archaeological research, they built one of the highest altitude urban civilizations in human history. They developed a form of raised field agriculture, called sukakalu, that allowed them to grow crops like potatoes and quinoa in a climate that should have made farming nearly impossible. Researchers believe their irrigation system extended more than 30 square miles. They had organized neighborhoods. social hierarchies, skilled labor guilds, a complex trade network that connected them to distant regions. At its height, the city of Tiwanaku is believed to have been, and this is a quote from archaeological records, unimaginably wondrous. Historians suggest it was adorned with polished metal plaques, brightly colored ceramic ornamentation, elaborately dressed priests, costumed citizens. It wasn't just a construction site. It was a living, breathing, extraordinary city. These were real people, brilliant people, people who looked up at those Andean mountains and said, "We're going to build something here that will last forever." And they were right. Even in ruins, even after being looted, quarried for building stone during colonial times, and hammered by earthquakes, Puma Punku is still here. Still making engineers scratch their heads. Still drawing researchers from around the world. That's their legacy. Okay. Now this is the part where I need you to really picture what I'm describing. Because when you walk through the ruins of Puma Punku, you encounter these specific stone blocks that archaeologists have nicknamed the H-blocks. The H-blocks are carved from andesite, a volcanic rock. And andesite is not soft. According to the Mohs scale of mineral hardness, it sits between 5.5 and 6. To give you a reference point, quartz is 7. Glass is around 5.5. This stuff is hard. And into this hard volcanic rock, someone carved these extraordinary shapes. Each H-block has channels, grooves, recesses, interior right-angle cuts. And they have these interlocking tabs and sockets, so that one block would slot perfectly into the next one, and the next one, like a three-dimensional puzzle. According to researchers who've studied the engineering, this wasn't just aesthetic. Those interlocking systems were functional. They distributed weight and stress laterally across the structure. According to some architectural analyses, this system may have been specifically designed to make the structure earthquake-resistant, so the whole thing would flex and move as a unified mass rather than cracking. Think about that. 1,500 years ago. In the Andes, one of the most seismically active regions on Earth. And the builders of Puma Punku appear to have designed their structure with earthquake resistance built right into the geometry. And then there's the precision. Researchers and engineers who have studied these blocks note that the surfaces are strikingly flat. The interior angles are remarkably close to perfect 90-degree corners. And, this is the part that really gets me, the same shapes repeat. Over and over. Across dozens of blocks. With a consistency that suggests pre-planning, templates, standardization. It suggests, according to some researchers, something that looks a lot like prefabrication. So now we get to the question that every researcher, every engineer, every curious person who visits this site ends up asking. How? How did they cut stone this precisely? Without power tools. Without steel instruments. Without the technology we'd use today. Well, here's where the evidence gets genuinely fascinating. Archaeological studies, including experiments carried out by researchers Jean-Pierre Protzen and Stella Nair, suggest that the stone cutting was achievable with the tools the Tiwanaku people had. It just required extraordinary skill, patience, and organization. According to their research, hammerstones, hard stone tools, were used for the initial rough shaping. Evidence of this is still visible. You can find similar hammerstones in the quarries near Tiwanaku. And for finer work, the precision grooves and smooth surfaces. It is believed that harder minerals like obsidian, flint, and jasper were used as cutting instruments. To get those flat surfaces, researchers suggest they used a straight edge, repeatedly and systematically moving it across the stone while hammering, achieving a flat planar surface through patient, methodical work. Some have even drawn comparisons to the ancient Egyptian technique using boning rods. For the finest, smoothest finish, polishing with obsidian and fine abrasive sands. And then, there's the other theory. The one that, if it's true, completely changes the story. In 2017 and 2018, a team of scientists from France and Peru did something that had never been done before. They took samples from the H blocks and analyzed them under electron microscopes. What they found was unexpected. According to their published research, they found organic matter inside the andesite stone. And here's why that matters. Organic matter inside volcanic rock is, geologically speaking, almost impossible. Volcanic rocks form under extreme heat. Organic material doesn't survive that. So where did it come from? The research team's conclusion, published in peer-reviewed work, suggests the stones may be a form of ancient geopolymer. In other words, they may not be carved at all. They may be cast. Like a very advanced form of ancient concrete. But wait. Before we get any further into how the stone was cut, we need to talk about something that's arguably even more mind-bending. Getting the stone there in the first place. Because here's what archaeologists have established through chemical and petrographic analysis of the stones. The red sandstone blocks, including that 131-ton monster, came from a quarry roughly 10 kilometers away, on the other side of a steep incline near Lake Titicaca. Okay. That's challenging. But manageable, maybe, for a large organized workforce. Now the andesite blocks. The ones used for the facing and the detailed carvings. Their nearest known quarry source is located on the Copacabana Peninsula. According to archaeological records, that is approximately 90 kilometers away, on the other side of Lake Titicaca. A lake that, by the way, creates its own weather. That sits at high altitude. That is roughly the size of Puerto Rico. And somehow, the Tiwanaku people transported multi-ton blocks of dense volcanic rock across it. Now, historians and engineers suggest this was likely achieved using massive reed boats made from the Tatora reeds that grow abundantly around Lake Titicaca. Indigenous peoples of the region have been building reed boats for millennia, and experimental archaeology has shown these vessels can support remarkable amounts of weight. Once ashore, the prevailing theory involves llama skin ropes, wooden sledges or rollers, earthen ramps, and the coordinated labor of hundreds, possibly thousands, of workers. Okay. Let me come back to the geopolymer thing, because I think this might be the most genuinely revolutionary piece of research connected to Puma Punku. And it's not fringe science. It's peer-reviewed. It's published. And it's kind of amazing. The research, led by geopolymer chemist Joseph Davidovits and colleagues from France and Peru, found something extraordinary when they analyzed the stones at a molecular level. According to their published findings, the red sandstone blocks contain sodium carbonate, a chemical compound that is not naturally present in local geological deposits. It had to come from somewhere else, specifically, they believe, from salt lakes on the Bolivian Altiplano. The andesite blocks contain organic compounds, carboxylic acids, that cannot exist inside natural volcanic rock. The conclusion they put forward, and which their data appears to support, is that the builders of Puma Punku may have used a geosynthesis process, essentially creating artificial stone by combining locally sourced mineral sands, volcanic tuff from the Cerro Capia region, and organic binders derived from local plants, to cast these structures in molds. Like ancient concrete. Now, it's important to note that not all archaeologists agree on this interpretation. Some researchers argue the stones show tool marks consistent with subtractive carving rather than casting. The scientific debate is genuinely ongoing. But what this research does establish, beyond debate, is that the people of Tiwanaku possessed a profound understanding of material science. Whether they carved or cast these stones, the chemistry involved was advanced, intentional, and extraordinarily sophisticated for its time. Here's the thing nobody tells you about Puma Punku. It was never finished. According to a comprehensive Bayesian chronology study published in 2023, based on 102 radiocarbon dates, construction at Puma Punku likely began around 580 AD. The most sophisticated stonework, the perfectly cut blocks, was completed within perhaps just 1 or 2 generations of master masons. After that, the quality drops. Minimally modified reused stones. Construction became less precise. And then, it stopped. Think about what that means. All of those extraordinary blocks we've been talking about, the H blocks, the precision cuts, the interlocking joints, they represent the work of maybe 2 generations of craftspeople, perhaps 50 to 80 years of intensive skilled labor. And then the project was abandoned before completion. Some of the stones were still unfinished at the quarry. They never even made the journey to the building site. Historians and archaeologists suggest this happened because Tiwanaku as a whole began its decline. The grand project was interrupted by forces larger than any single building program. The stone blocks that were never set. According to local tradition, they're sometimes called piedras cansadas, the tired stones. The stones that got tired of waiting to be placed. I don't know why, but that detail gets me every time. So what happened to the people who built all of this? According to that 2023 Bayesian study from the NIH database, one of the most detailed chronological analyses ever done of Tiwanaku, permanent human occupation at the site ended at around 1010 AD. The city that had housed up to 20,000 people. The civilization that raised 131-ton stones to precise heights. Gone, within a generation or two. The traditional explanation has been drought. Research by geologist Elliot Arnold of the University of Pittsburgh found evidence of increasing aridity in the region around the time of collapse. And it is believed that a prolonged drought would have devastated Tiwanaku's sophisticated agricultural systems. But, and this is important, that 2023 study found that collapse may have begun before the worst drought effects. Suggesting internal social tensions, the breakdown of political systems, the fraying of community bonds, may have also played a role. A civilization that lasted for centuries, that built wonders, that fed tens of thousands, that figured out how to move mountains. And then, it scattered into the mountains, and was quiet. Here's what I keep coming back to when I think about Puma Punku. It's not the mystery that gets me. Well, it does. Obviously. But what really gets me is the ambition. A group of humans, living at 13,000 feet above sea level, in thin air, with tools we'd consider primitive, looked at raw stone and said, "We are going to make this perfect." Not good enough. Not adequate. Perfect. They moved mountains. Literally. They figured out material science before we had a word for it. They designed earthquake-resistant architecture before seismology existed as a field. They coordinated thousands of people across generations toward a single, unified vision. And then life happened. Drought. Social collapse. The project remained unfinished. But the stones stayed. And 1,500 years later, modern engineers are standing in Bolivia with laser scanners and electron microscopes, still trying to figure out exactly how they did it. I think they'd be pretty pleased about that. If Puma Punku fascinated you, and honestly, how could it not, go down in the comments and tell me, what's the detail that surprised you most? Was it the 131-ton stone? The geopolymer theory? The tired stones? I read every single comment. Take care of yourselves. Stay curious. And I'll see you in the next one.